Good afternoon. I know it's Sunday, but tonight we begin the second set of holidays of Passover. Tonight we go to synagogue. Tomorrow we read about the splitting of the sea, and then on Tuesday we will say Yizkor. But there will be something very different about this Yizkor, because when we say Yizkor on Tuesday, it will be the first time we say Yizkor since the horrific massacres that happened on October 12th, when 1,200 Israelis were innocently butchered and killed. And since the war began, another 400 soldiers plus so many others were killed. And it'll be the first time we say Yizkor. It was only 6 months ago on Simchas Torah, the day after Yizkor, that we came to synagogue on Sunday morning to find out about the horrific massacre of October 7th. But the question is, how could we say Yizkor? How could we celebrate? How could we be joyful when we're saying Yizkor? It's the holiday. You're supposed to be celebratory. But we think about these 1,200 plus innocent people that were killed, plus all the soldiers, plus the 12,000 wounded. We think about Israel under terror. We think about anti-Semitism in the world, and you say, how could you celebrate some Passover? Passover is a time of freedom and celebration. The Yizkor Rebbe was a remarkable man who survived the war. His family was killed by the Nazis, and he survived. He got remarried. He never had any children, but he moved to Israel and built a beautiful community. And today, the community continues to thrive. And he says the story like this: tomorrow in all temples and all synagogues we will sing the miracle of the splitting of the Red Sea. You see, the Jews could have gone straight through Gaza, actually, from Egypt, without even crossing into the water. But it was dangerous, and God didn't want them to hesitate and want to go back. So he sent them the long routed way, and therefore they had the miracle of the splitting of the sea. But when the Jews finished crossing the sea, Moses sang the song that we're going to read tomorrow in temples all over. Az Yashir Moshe, then Moses will sing. And the rabbis asked the question, why does it say then he will sing? It should have said then he sung. And the rabbis answered that from here is the Torah insinuating, the Torah hinting to us that there will be a time of redemption. There will be a time of salvation for the world when all these people will be resurrected. There will be a time, as we read in the Haftorah on Tuesday in synagogues all over the world, as Isaiah says in his prophecy, when they will turn swords into plowshares, when the lamb will lie with the wolf. Ask the Yizkor Rebbe. He says, how could it be? Why do we find the proof for the resurrection in the middle of the Song of the Sea? Why is it significant? Why is that the time when God wants to send us a message of hope? And he says something very powerful. He says when the Jews finished crossing the sea and Moses asked them to sing, it was hard for them to sing because they all know that 4/5 of the Jewish people got left in Egypt. So many of their families were killed. So many of their families were murdered. How could you go and sing a song to God after such trauma, after such hardships, after such difficulties? It was hard for the Jewish people to sing. Came along Moshe, and he said, Az Yashir Moshe. Now it's painful, because you're thinking about all those that are not with us. But remember that there will be a time when we will sing it again. There will be a time when they will sing again. We have deep faith that they're in the shelter of the wings of the Almighty, and that God will bring salvation to his people. And that's why Moses says, Az Yashir, then we will sing. In order to encourage the Jews to sing at that point, he had to show them the long arm of God and had to remind them that although now there was pain, there will be a time when all those who passed, the 4/5 of the Jewish people who were killed in Egypt, and all those who suffered will be able to sing again, Az Yashir Moshe. And that's what the Yizkor Rebbe turned to his disciples who were sitting in 1945, right after they were just came out of the inferno of the Holocaust. And he wanted them to celebrate the holiday, but how could they celebrate And he told them this thought. And he told them that we have to have deep faith and know that there will come a time when these souls will sing again. Now they're singing under God's throne. Now they're singing in the Garden of Eden. But the day will come when they will sing again. Sing again in a physical sense. How do we say Yizkor on after October 7th? When the wounds are so fresh, the first Yizkor on Tuesday, we will sit in shul and remember all those names of those that were murdered. How will we be able to be joyous? Because we have faith and we know that the Jewish people will be victorious. We know without a doubt that we not only will survive this horror, but we will thrive. And those souls, those holy neshamas, those kedoshim, who lost their lives on October 7th and beyond and afterwards, their lives will not be in vain. Their lives will not be in vain because we will live as Jews, because we will stand up for Israel, and because we will have deep faith that they will come back to life. I just came back from a rally that CJP did to stand up for the students on campus. There were thousands of people there. And to hear the students themselves speak, to hear the professors speak, gave us tremendous courage in a time of so much challenge. I told you the story maybe of this young man, Ilan, and his friend, who were together with his girlfriend, Ilan's girlfriend, on October 7th. They were hiding from the Nova Festival. They were hiding in some sort of cave. And at a moment, Ilan saw a terrorist try to jump in. And Ilan jumped up to protect his girlfriend. And him and his friend were killed. And his father, Adir, who was a jeweler, and his son was getting into the jewelry business too, says the story how he didn't know what to do. He was in so much pain. He lost a son. How could he transform that into some sort of meaning, of hope? And then he saw a soldier and his girlfriend come out of Gaza for a week break to propose to each other. And he said, I know. He said, I will make a ring for this couple. Any couple that wants to get engaged, any soldier that comes out of the fighting and wants to propose to his girlfriend, I will gift them a ring. And since then he's made 81 rings, each one about 8,000 shekel, about $2,200. And he said he called it Adir's fun, Adir's rings. And he said, my son will never maybe witness to propose to his girlfriend, but when I see these people proposing to their fiancés, it gives my son Ilan life again. Az Yashir Moshe. Moses, 3,300 plus years ago, when the Jews were crossing over the Red Sea, reminded the Jewish people that in the darkest of times, and even as we say Yizkor for so many people, we must remember that Az Yashir Moshe, we will yet sing again. These souls are singing now, and will sing again, because our deep faith in God will allow us to be victorious and annihilate our enemies. Chag Sameach, and have